Small farts. Small farts, small farts. And welcome to Devil May Cry Mission 15, the Gatecrasher, with your host, the Super Blue Badger. It's been a long time, my friends, and there has been a long hiatus, probably about 3 months? But today for this mission, we're going to be getting straight back into it. Today we're going to be going with a rather heavy setup while using Agni and Rudra, Rebellion. Try to keep a weapon on hand that has double jump for this mission. You'll trust me on this one, you're going to love it. Try to upgrade your weapons as much as you can, preferably the shotgun. Because we're going to be having some trouble today. We're going the Gunstinger route. Fuck that shit. Anyway, welcome to the upper Septarian Garden. While I get used to the controls again, we move on. Who shot the bird? Oh my god. You're not a bird at all! No, in fact, this is one of the new demons. As we shall see here, the Fallen, a demon who fell from grace for lying and deceiving its victims. Her beautiful wings closed to form an invincible shield. Her open belly is her only weakness. It gives you all the information you need right there. And basically, guns, as you can see, don't do a great deal to its shield. It does a tiny bit of damage, but it is extremely unrecommended to be using the guns on this enemy. As you can see here, I'm taking the opportunity to strike this enemy from a vantage point, from further away, because you may realise a little something strange. They're kind of phasing through the walls. No, this is not a bug, ladies and gentlemen. This is actually how they play. They actually phase in all 8 directions. They can basically move in any direction they so choose. Once you have removed their shield, they will have an the bigger variety of attacks, such as exploding spears and being able to make their lance extend like 300 feet and slap you in the face like this is Mardi Gras. Motherfuckers, I hate these motherfuckers a lot. Yes, this game involves a lot of swearing. I am swearing a lot because they are frustrating. It has been a long time since I've played this game, and really, I would be happy if I never had to face them again. They are my mortal nemesis of Devil May Cry. I have plenty of mortal nemesises, but we'll get into that at a later point. Also, the explosions of their spears have a long-lasting range, so if you fall into it while the explosion is still on screen, you're still going to get damaged by it for a fair amount. Maybe an eighth of your health. Well, I guess it depends how big your health bar is, but fuck that. So as you can see, I'm actually taking a fair amount of damage. We're more than halfway lost already, and no matter what, the Devil Trigger gauge just isn't refilling it like it used to. As you can see, getting closer to these creatures can be absolutely bloody frustrating, and occasionally they may just reinvigorate their shields, giving you even more to deal with. These guys are, without a doubt, C-U-N-T-S. I almost forgot how to spell that word, and I'm sorry, I apologise to all the ladies in the crowd, but they are C-U-N-T-S. They make my small farts rage with terror. Well, not terror, I don't feel fear. Especially when I'm not playing as Dante. Dante doesn't feel fear. Do devils feel fear? Well, who knows? And we sucked at that pretty bad, so, let's see if we can suck less. I've been looking through some of the videos for the True Style tournaments for Devil May Cry 3, and I've never actually seen anybody try to get a Triple S rank against the Fallen. It doesn't seem like it's the wisest of moves because they don't really give you much of an opportunity. And to be honest, I don't blame them. If I see a Triple S ranks against a room filled with nothing but Fallen, I will be thoroughly impressed. Thoroughly impressed. And as you can see, the reason why I restarted the mission was because I needed that extra health. We're filled with a room filled with flesh-eating spiders, and their attacks really mix up a lot. While you're trying to focus on one that, and you know, while their attacks have a rather moderate setup time, you can get caught off like this, and there are several ones off the camera. They'll come and slash your ass up while you're not even looking, and it's terrible. I don't even remember what I've really spoken about these enemies, other than that they are terrifying, I hate them, and you should only use Agni and Rudra on them because fire causes them to burn and not release any of their putrid swine-filled children that will basically... I think, yes, we have seen their children. I'm not even sure if they have a name. That object I swiped at earlier was also just part of the mission. It will be the gimmick for this mission. Do you like gimmicks? Because you don't really have much choice in this game. Looks like an elevator control switch, but something is missing. There are 3 indentations for something to fit into. And it feels like I just can't stop talking. It's so difficult. You may recognise this environment, for this is where we downed Leviathan, where he had a massive bit of a trip. And if you jump up to his eye, he gives you red orbs. Good stuff. An energy source has been activated. As to why we didn't hit that while we were here in the first place, I have no idea. Another frustrating thing about having a style set to O is whenever you try to open the doors, you'll occasionally just sit there and spin your sword at it. I know Dante likes to open his doors with violence, but normally using your hands works a whole lot better. But that's just my precognition. So as you can see here, slash at the blue thingy, and it rotates. A massive force is shaking the tower. It feels like the whole tower is rotating. The giant hand of God is twisting the tower from the outside. Round the outside, why am I... No, why did that remind me of an Eminem song? So, this is a gimmicky way to make us revisit some of the previous areas that Devil May Cry 3 has brought us to. As you can see, there are more of those switches that we can use to take up to new areas, but let's not hit that for now, and this will get quite confusing at a later date. You can pretty much ignore it and just move onwards. And as you can see, the duller hands are there to obstrude our path, and now we have some puzzle platforming. But just for your information, because I've already done this mission in an earlier video that I scrapped, there is a blue orb fragment up there. I'm not sure if I've shown that already. If I have or have not, I do not give a fuck! Giving a fuck is the badger's one weakness, and that's why I may not let it show. So, getting through it is easy enough. As you see, not much of a problem. And there we go, we have the Orhalcum fragment, a name that I have said wrongly in the past. Fantastic. Now, let's try getting past this with a fixed camera position so we can see no more than 3 feet in front of us at a time. Yes! Beautiful. This is the worst fucking thing in the world. Fuck you, Capcom, and fuck your Cap comedy. Fuck it right in your cap, asshole. That doesn't even work. As you can see, I'm not really paying much attention to fighting because, really, it's just not even worth it anymore. Awkward camera angles. It's kind of weird when it sort of deviates between a fixed camera position and a free camera position. As much as I understand what they're trying to do, they aren't doing it well enough. But I suppose that's something that you'd get from a sole successor to Resident Evil, or was supposed to be a Resident Evil game, but it was too outlandish, so they gave it a shirtless demon. Okay, he wasn't shirtless in the first game. I don't know why I'm going on a rant on Devil May Cry 1, but that's just the theme today. Speaking of which, I never completed Devil May Cry 1. Maybe I should go back and do that. Another area you might recognise, where we got Nevin not too long ago, and also the spiral weapon. We'll be buying some health items because I have not played in a long time. Long time. Long time. Me love you long time, and oh god, that's a... How far up are we anyway? This was supposed to be in the water underground earlier. It sort of makes you wonder if they actually put any thought at all into how this tower changed when shit got sick nasty and yo. Talking like a black person is my one true dream, and I will never understand it. I will never be the true black person. Or black gangster, I suppose, or a wigger. I'll never even be a wigger. So not much has changed, to be honest, and if you have played Devil May Cry 4, you will probably be a little pushed away at backtracking, because it seems to be a bit of a recurring theme in Devil May Cry. I'm not even going to lie, it does seem to be something that they're quite keen on. Like, not even as a way to prolong the game, because this game is actually pretty fucking long already. 20 missions is actually quite decent for a game, especially of this era. Another Orhalcon fragment, let's get the fuck out of here. Normally I just don't bother with these sort of creatures unless I have the Spiral and Gunslinger equipped. I did have Gunslinger on earlier, but I swapped it out for Swordmaster for convenience purposes. Have you ever stopped to look at the walls in Devil May Cry 3? Because I sure haven't, and I'm trying to look at them now, but it's not really working out for me. We're back in the starting room because I forgot to change the room location that we were supposed to go to again. It's one thing that I didn't show, but you can actually go ahead straight to the next room without actually having to move on, or move back to the center room. And I could have avoided this fight mostly entirely, but because I'm forgetful. I'm just forgetful. Can you forgive me for forgetting? Recently I've found it extremely difficult when you're in an environment with more of the higher tier enemies, that has no real cannon fodder, that fucks you up like this. It's really hard to get your style gauge up, especially when they can block and have a rudimentary series of attacks, where they spray their white sticky goo all over you, and I dodged that like a sick badass motherfucker. It's just impossible. I don't see how it is physically possible to really keep your style gauge up. Because all your attacks have no knockback, and sometimes it's very difficult to assume where your attacks are going to interrupt them. You need a certain level of attack, like sometimes the shotgun will cause a knockback effect on the Fallen, and that only happens once I upgraded it to level 2. So what manner of attacks, or how much damage do you have to really output to interrupt some of the later enemies? It's an extremely hard thing to figure out. So generally, you're better off just wailing on them, because trying to figure it out is not something that you can do in the middle of a battle like this, where they're fucking you up severely. Because at this point in the game, where there's only 5 missions left, or rather 4 missions, 4.5, they all have extended HP, more defense, more attack. So it's one of these things that are, I call it artificial difficulty. That's one thing that really fucking grinds my nuts. Artificial difficulty. I don't think a fucking hard mode should be nothing more than increased HP and defense and attack. Or even just weakening your attacks. And real difficulty is where there's less ammo, there is more enemies, more strategies that you weren't expecting, and there should be more thought put into things that are hard mode. Because it's not a hard mode if you just have to shoot something for half a second longer. That is not difficulty. That is artificial and bullshit. That is my 2 cents on artificial hard difficulties. And as you can tell, I'm pretty much tired by Spider Sabai. And when we come back in, the spiders are gone. Like magic. It's a beautiful thing, really. And with that, we've moved on. Back to the Gears of Madness, and we've gone completely the wrong way, so fuck this shit. And I'm running the wrong way again. There was something up with my thumb today. I think it's from all the bitches that I punched. All of the bitches that I punched caused my thumb to be dislocated backwards. And I didn't put it back because, you know, I'd see it as a bit of a trophy when you punch bitches so hard that your thumb goes backwards, you know? That's just the way things are in this world of ours. You just gotta punch bitches hard enough. And now that we've moved on, we don't actually have to go to... Oh no, wait, yes, we do have to go to this room. The optional room comes up next. In a room filled with many grindy things and pain. It's very recommended that you have air hike for this because, as you can see, it would be very difficult to get above them otherwise. I made the mistake of not having air hike on this level. Never again. Ever, ever, ever. Without air hike, it's not even worth it. And there are spiders again. But I say fuck you, spiders. I'm just gonna take your sweet loot, stuff it in my pants, and I'm gonna run right the fuck out of here. Because you didn't lock the door. Suckers. You have to be extremely careful, but I found a good way of getting over these without getting yourself too fucked up. If you jump stationary the first time, then hold forwards and jump again, you generally clear it if you're standing close enough. Jump stationary, jump forward. And with that we can proceed in safety to the optional area. It's not an area I would recommend going because there are more fallen, and it's also the area where you fought the Quicksilver Beast. I'm not even sure what it was called. I'm gonna have to look that up later. Yep, mission 11, right there on the floor. So as you see, we're on the other side of the lift. The path leads back to the human world, and if you follow this far enough, it will take you back to Dante's office, for whatever reason you would want to go back. Maybe to grind some orbs, maybe to do a secret mission or something, I'm not entirely sure. By this point I pretty much said fuck it to the secret missions, because it's for actual pros that play this game hardcore. And for that information, if you want to see some pros that really play this game, without a doubt hardcore, I recommend that you watch the True Style tournaments. Just go into the browser after you've watched this video, or you can pause it and watch it now, I don't care. You can pretty much just type in DMC3 True Style Tournament, and you can even get away with putting in the style of your choice, because they've done it with pretty much all of them. But I recommend for some seriously interesting combos, you want Gunslinger or Swordmaster. Go on, try, I'll wait. The video can be paused. And I'm running around in circles for a moment here, but I realised that I already picked up the blue orb fragments. So, just so you know, there is also a blue orb fragment here. And so we return the long convoluted pathway. Backtracking is so boring. Look at those thighs work. Dante, work those thighs up those stairs, this thigh master of yours. And now the stairs are done. I'm done looking at your thighs. Now there's a thought. If you had the opportunity to grasp Dante's arm, would you be able to push his muscle inwards, or would they be like solid rock? Or adamantium? What would Dante's skin feel like? Because if he's as strong as this, there's got to be something. It can't be all in the blood. I'm severely curious now. What does Dante's arms feel like? Apparently this is a provision storeroom. I only just realised this now, and there's no food in it. I'm severely disappointed by this outcome of events. But with that out of the way, we can now put the 3 Orhalcum fragments in the door. And say goodbye to this fucking terrible level. Beam me up, Scotty, and get me the fuck out of here.
plucks the threads that make us dance finger and toe. We surrender, in joy, to the lowest of the foul and rank. We submerge through darkness, rancid filth. Hour by hour, we move downward, ever closer to hell, in a slow, steady gait. Now, let the world resonate. Sloth, gluttony, greed, envy, lust, wrath, and pride. A bell of chaos that tolls human desires. After 2,000 long years, the once sealed gate to the demonic world will open. Destruction! Carnage and despair! Let your instincts drive you. Entrap this world in fear, as its very name timidly strikes terror into the heart of mankind. Then I will become the ultimate ruler of this wasteland, engulfed with pandemonium. The demonic power that Sparta once imprisoned will be mine!
What a shocking revelation. Arkham wants to take over the world with some unknown power in the demonic world. To rule in pandemonium and do as evil guys do. He's got that laugh down too. But that was it for the episode 16? I'm pretty sure it was 16, fuck it. See you on the next episode, Badger Recruits. I'll see you there.
Now this is what I'm talking about.